once made me ebullient, transforming every lampshade into a potential hat, and keeping the party going all night long, betrayed me even further. It made me unable to do anything but sit in front of my computer and shake. I'd be crouched there, thinking about how badly I had to pee, really wanting to get up and go to the bathroom, but I'd be too jittery to stand, or too frightened. So I'd just stay there and shake. I was capable of some movements. I could wipe my nose, and I could chain smoke, and I could even occasionally rise to peer out the window at my neighbors, a composer and his wife, do-gooders I was convinced spied on me with binoculars. One movement I could not make, alas, involved tapping keys on the keyboard. I'd stare at the screen, at the great American screenplay I'd convinced myself I was writing, and I'd have a lot of ideas for how to make it better. Too many of them, alas. I'd want to try one, but there was the shaking to contend with, and just the fact that I couldn't seem to find a way to tap the letters out. Still, I'll say this for me. I never gave up. I never said, gosh, this writing while wired thing isn't working out. Maybe I should watch a movie. I just stayed there and kept trying. The worst part of it all, as I saw it, was the way my computer worked. If you didn't hit a key for 60 seconds, a box would pop onto the screen asking if you wanted to save. The question would be accompanied by a beep. Now, I don't know how loud a beep it was, how loud I would consider it, say, today, but I know this. In the state I was in, that noise sounded like a megaphone inside a microphone inside my ear. And so I lived in fear of the beep. It somehow symbolized just how bad things were. If I could avoid the beep, I somehow thought, that meant everything was going to be okay. I couldn't avoid the beep. I'd sit there, huddled, telling myself to just hit a key, any key, so I could buy myself some time. But there was a disconnect between my brain and my hand, and it wouldn't happen. I'd be in fearful anticipation, thinking, do something or the beep will come. The beep is coming, dear God, it's coming closer, do something now. But nothing would happen, and then, beep! I'd nearly jump out of my skin every time. And then I'd spend the next 59 seconds or so trying to avoid the next beep and miss it. Thanks.
Thank you, Anna. Ruth Fowler.
I have to apologise for my appearance. I'm an activist and I just came straight from Skid Row where we spent the night. And unfortunately that involves, if you're a Skid Row resident, you don't have a bathroom. We didn't have a bathroom last night. We improvised with a bucket and I ended up stepping in it. So don't come too close to me today. So I'm going to read a piece and I'd like to dedicate it to a friend of mine who passed away last week from an overdose. And this has been kind of a heavy set of reading, so I'd just like to say, like, for me, the point about addiction is you got to find the humour in it. You know, it's a shitty fucking disease. It's killing people. But, like, when you look back at the things you did, it's really fucking funny sometimes, and we should find the humour in that. So this piece is called The World Breaks Everyone. I gravitated to the fucked up writers. Hunter S. Thompson, Hemingway, William S. Burroughs, Raymond Chandler, Tennessee Williams, Dylan Thomas, Jack Kerouac, Truman Capote, Charles Bukowski, William Faulkner. There weren't many women in my list. Dorothy Parker, and that was about it. Somehow, hand in hand with booze and drugs, the terrible dance that substances led me on became one that I must perfect to be a writer. It was a required necessity, an essential rite of passage, and my writing heroes' words were the proof. I drank, gurned, snorted, swallowed, and hallucinated like they did. That waltz into the dark was absolutely crucial for me in order to write like them. Even if the familiar, haunting, beautiful chimes of the Blue Danube led me instead to the depths of degradation, I could still write about it. Once I was arrested on a highway in Portland, Oregon, suspected of filleting the driver of a moving vehicle. Once I screwed a man 20 years older than me in the top deck of a yacht, not realising that the crew were sitting downstairs, watching intently on the security cameras. Once I slept with a man and his brother in the same night while their friends watched. Once my mother stabbed me with a fork. Once I danced naked like a pixie for a man 30 years older than me so that he would buy me drugs. Once I coerced a reference out of my Cambridge University tutor, ostensibly for a university application, In reality, so I could steam open the envelope and find out what she thought of me. Ruth is heartless, but perhaps that is a very good thing for a writer, she had written. I lost my heart somewhere along the way, drowned with booze and addled by coke and shrooms. I wish I could get it back. Ruth is heartless. Terrible things, memories, made flippant by necessity. To regard them with their full weight would make my non-existent heart burst. I only admitted to them with braggart and bravado in writing, in alcoholic top trumps, when laughing removed the poison, their ability to wound. The taste of humiliation became a familiar one in my using years, but I integrated it into my words and turned it into a triumph, like Hunter did, like Bukowski did. Swirled in the mouths of others, it was still painfully raw, distinct, sharp and new. Do you remember, some asshole would say, not registering me, cringing away from the howl of silent shame. Do you remember when you scored coke off that rickshaw driver and fingered Stephanie in the hot tub before giving everyone lap dances? I never let anyone else have that pleasure. I wrote about my own humiliations first, asking myself, what would Hunteress have done? Oh, far worse. We were on the edge of Charing Cross Road when the cocaine began to take hold. I think I said, Paul, get the fucking rickshaw driver to take us to a crack den. I travelled all over when I left university with a remarkably good degree, considering I'd been snorting coke off the back of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight every morning to help me stay awake when revising. I drank in London. I starved myself in Argentina. I swallowed MDMA in Alpe d'Huez, snorted coke in Antibes, drank copiously in Nice, screwed strangers when high in Monaco. But I merely drank in the Caribbean, locking myself away in the boat I was